Hi, I'm Aiman, and welcome back to one of my auto repair videos. Today's video, we're going to be talking about a problem that we encountered while trying to replace some components of our exhaust system and our Honda Insight. I think this is a 2010. And in my last video, I talked about how exactly to locate the source of a leak in the exhaust system using a lighter. So go check out that video if you're interested. It's actually a pretty straightforward method. I'm sure you can guess what it is. But we located the leak is right here in the connection between our catalytic converter and our resonator. And so when we figure out that the leak was here, obviously what we want to do was fix that leak with a gasket, which would go, in between here. In order to replace that gasket, we want to separate these components and try to insert it. But while we were doing that, this is a really old car, and it's basically rusted, welded shut. And so my dad was trying to figure out a way to separate these components. There's a bolt and there's 3 bolts and 3 nuts, or we're not even sure if they're nuts on the outside here. They might even be welded. It's kind of hard to tell with all the rust here. But we were trying to separate it, and my dad tried to chisel things apart because it's rusted, welded shut. So at this point you got to use a chisel. But when using a chisel, he actually caused it to crack. It's hard to see, so if you can't see it on video, we'll overlay an image of it. Actually, I think you can see it. You need to go a bit. Oh yeah, you can see it. Anyway, it's cracked. And now the best course of action would be to replace this entire assembly from here all the way up to here. So that means replacing the cat and the resonator. The resonator is like $150. The cat is $300. So this would be quite a costly replacement, not to mention the labor that goes into doing it. But at this point, this car has been through quite a lot and it's quite old. I guess you could call it shot, basically. And we don't really want to go through all that trouble and all that cost to replace these components. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to weld it shut. Okay, so I kind of lied a bit when I said welding. Instead, what we're going to do, instead of like actually welding it and putting all that metal to seal it, what we're going to do is use these sealants right here to plug the leak. And the main reason that we're choosing this option is because Osman needs to go back home soon, and we need to do something that's quick. So these sealants will provide us an option to do the job quickly without having to replace the cat and the resonator, which we'd have to wait for the parts to get here and actually do. But these types of sealants are actually perfect for our job, and I have multiple of them, and I'm going to discuss why I have multiple of them later, but right now that's not important. But these are perfect for our application because we need high temperature sealants. So these work in high temperatures. So this one, for example, works at 1500 degrees. This one works at 2000 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's important because under a car can get very hot. At the front of the car, it could probably be around 1000 degrees Fahrenheit. And at the back, maybe 400. But as long as it works in a high temperature climate, that's the type of sealant that we're looking for. Also, of course, because we're working on a car, we need it to be able to bond to metal. So most of these can bond to steel pretty well in metal. And also, it needs to be fast. So a few of these, they cure in or you can apply them in like 10 minutes. And they cure in a very short amount of time. So we're going to be talking about all of these. And then we're not going to show you how to use them in this video, but we're just going to be talking about them. Alright, so first off, we're going to start with the Permatex. This is muffler and tailpipe sealer. In fact, this is actually exactly what we're looking for. Again, it works in up to 2000 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's also got a short application time. According to the instructions, it says, you put it for, you allow it to dry for 30 minutes, and then you run the engine for 10 minutes. So that's a pretty fast application time, and it works. Yeah, really. Yeah. Moving on, we have this extreme heat metallic paste. In this case, it has a set time of an hour and a cure time of 24 hours. So that means the total time is around 25 hours, which is not ideal. It also only works up to 1000 degrees Fahrenheit, which you know, at the area of the catalytic converter, you know, that's only about 600 degrees. So that might be okay. But if you're working on like a sports car, for example, the temperatures might go double what you usually expect on a normal car. So this might not be good enough for that type of application. Because it mentions cure time, I wonder if there's a cure time for the Permatex, because they don't mention it at all. But I assume that 10 minutes of the engine running might be related to it curing. Next up with this is a Versa Chem exhaust seal joint and crack sealer. So this is very similar. It's also similarly made for the exhaust system. This might be more of a general application. But this one, you let it set for 2 to 4 hours. It also doesn't mention curing time. So it really makes me wonder if these guys, if they need curing time. Anyway, next up, these are both going to be JB Weld. This one's a fiber weld automotive repair cast. And the way it works is it's kind of like a tape that you wrap around the leak. And it's, I think it's fiberglass tape. Is it? Yeah, it's fiberglass tape that works on metal, of course. And because it's tape, it's very fast. It withstands up to only 400 degrees Fahrenheit though. So probably not the best, but you'll see later in the video. We'll talk about it. We are going to be using this, and I'll explain why. And then lastly, we have some JB Weld, the original cold weld formula. And this works kind of like epoxy. You mix them together and then you apply them around, and it just works as a sealant. Now in this case, it cures in about 4 to 6 hours, or fully cures in about 15 to 24 hours. And it withstands temperatures of up to 550 degrees when fully cured. So these two have a bit of a lower operating temperature. These two work in about the temperature range that we're expecting. And you know, this one is 1000 degrees Fahrenheit. But all of these, we'll talk about which one we're going to use and how we're going to use it. But these are all options that we have right now for stopping the leak. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Again, our constraints are that we have a limited amount of time, and we also want to work under the car, where it's about 600 degrees at that area. So what we're going to do is first we're going to apply the Permatex. You know, it takes about 40 minutes for it to work. After it dries, we're going to apply either one of these two, either the JB Weld or the exhaust seal. And I think probably this one's a bit better because it dries in less time, because this one takes about 25 hours for it to fully work, and 1 hour to dry. And this one takes only, I think it was 2 hours? Yeah, 2 to 4 hours to set. And after that, we're going to wrap it in the fiberglass tape, which I know I said before, it doesn't work. It only has an operating temperature of around 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit. But this is mostly to ensure that the rest of the paste is fully covered. So we have no way of knowing and this is just to be safe, right? These will work fine by themselves, but just to ensure that we know that the leak is fully plugged by the paste, just to cover all of our bases, because we don't want to have to come back and further apply more stuff, we're going to put the tape just as a last line of defense, or rather first line of defense, because it's on the outside. We're not going to be using the JB Weld because it just takes too much time. And also, these already kind of accomplished what the JB Weld was originally going to do. So, I mean, the first reaction I had to this one, my dad was explaining to me that we were doing this, and I was saying, okay, that makes sense. I am concerned a bit about the mixing of the sealants, because, you know, maybe there's some unintended effect when they come together. Maybe there's a chemical reaction. But we're thinking that because these are going to eventually harden, that there's going to be no issue. There's probably going to be no issue of any unintended side effects. You know, one's just going to be one layer, then this is going to be a second layer, and this one's going to be a third layer. They're going to be separate. But if you guys happen to have any insight onto this about mixing the sealants, let us know in the comments down below, and you can also help other people who are considering doing this application. Links to all these will be in the description and comments down below if you're interested in buying them. But that's all for this video. So in today's video, I talked a bit about the issue that we experienced with trying to fix a leak coming from our exhaust system. And I showed you what the different types of applications that you can do to the different types of substances you can apply to fix those leaks instead of just replacing the entire assembly, which is the other option. You could replace the cat and the resonator. But if you have a job that you need to be done quick, then these are your solutions. I hope this helped out. I hope this helped you out, and if it did help you out, let me know in the comments down below. And if you have any insights to add to the conversation, please feel free to add it to the comments down below. But that's going to be all for this video. I'm Aiman, and thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and look at other videos on EyeOnAiman, especially the videos on the auto repair. And we also did another diagnostic video on if you have a loud clacking noise whenever you run over a bump or the curb. So go check out that video, and I'll see you there. But for now, I'm Aiman, and signing out.